Hi guys and welcome back to my channel. My name's Emma. If you're new here, welcome. This is a what I read this month. I'm gonna take you guys through chronologically. This is actually for the month of November. I read all of this in November, not December. I know I'm gonna be posting this in December, but I just didn't have time to film it, and now it's all the way in December. Whatever, we move on. The first book I read in November was The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. So I started reading this literally all of October, but I was so busy in October that I only really got to it until the first 3 days of November. Oh no, the first 2 days, and then I literally just read it in 2 days. So I had read 10 chapters and then I read the rest in 2 days, because once you get into this book, it is addicting. I absolutely loved it. It was amazing. It is by Taylor Jenkins Reid. I also really loved the layout of this story. Let me give you a basic summary of what it's about. So there is this old Hollywood actress called Evelyn Hugo who has had an amazing life, finally ready to tell the truth about her life, because there's a lot of secrets that come in the Hollywood business, and she is telling it all to a young reporter called Monique Grant, and she's like, I want you for the job and only you. And people are like, Monique Grant isn't that great of a reporter, she isn't that well known, why do you want her? So that's what we figure out through the book. She has had 7 husbands, so basically her life is retold through the 7 husbands, and it's done in 7 parts, all according to the husbands. I literally loved it. It was great. I definitely recommend it. I gave this book a 5 out of 5 stars, which I never ever normally do, but I truly can't fault it. The next book I read was Normal People by Sally Rooney. I have been meaning to get to this book forever, and I'm so glad I finally did, because it was amazing. If you like a book with complex characters but no real storyline and no real climax, this is the book for you. It is about 2 people, Connell and Marianne. Okay, one thing about books is that I feel like I pronounce their names differently, and then when people watch me on YouTube and they're like, that's not the character's name, that's not how you say it. So if I say it wrong, just whatever, who cares? Connell and Marianne, they both grew up in the same small town, and they live in the west of Ireland, and I have a bit of a soft spot for Ireland because there's not many stories told there, and I love my family from there, so it really makes me happy. I've only been there once, but I don't know, soft spot. Same with New York, because I love New York. So soft spot for those kind of stories. So at the start of the book, Connell is popular and well liked, and Marianne is an introvert and an outsider, and she kind of gets bullied and stays away from her classmates. Her classmates aren't very nice to her. I really think it's not a story a romance story. I think it's a story of 2 people. Amazing. I like the writing. One thing that was a little bit hard to get over is that Sally Rooney doesn't use speech marks, and I looked into why she does this, and it's because she wants to show the lack of communication between the characters. But in the first 150 pages I didn't know that, and it really quite annoyed me. It was a bit of a pet peeve for me, but actually as you get further into the book you kind of just get used to it. This book has a lot of themes about generational wealth, imposter syndrome, high school and university. This is based a lot in university. It actually goes over a long period of time, 7 years, and I thought it was great, so you should definitely read it. I also rated this a 5 out of 5 stars. It did make me cry, it did make me laugh, so go read it. Sally Rooney's great, and I want to read some of her other work. Alrighty, next up we have a very famous book talk book. It Ends With Us by Colleen Hoover. This is my first Colleen Hoover book, and it scarred me. I would definitely say I went in blind to this book. I didn't know what was going on, and then when I found the title is mentioned in this book, and I find it very satisfying when it does that. And when it did this, and when the title was mentioned, I lost it. I bawled my eyes out. I finished this at school, and I had multiple people come up and ask me if I was okay. I wasn't okay because I had just finished this book. It's completely heartbreaking, but it's also such a good story, and I have never looked at this theme that the main character Lily endures, so I've never looked at it like that. I don't know, you're not going to get what I mean until you read it. I really recommend you read it. If you've already read it, you'll get what I mean. But it's basically about this girl, Lily. She's graduated from college, moved to Boston and started her own business. When she feels a spark with a gorgeous neurosurgeon named Ryle, everything in Lily's life suddenly seems almost too good to be true. Ryle is assertive, stubborn, and maybe a little arrogant. He's also sensitive, brilliant, and has a total soft spot for Lily, but Ryle's complete aversion to relationships is disturbing. So basically, Ryle doesn't want to get in a relationship. He's always like, no, I don't want a relationship. I'm not into that type of stuff. I'm not into commitment. And Lily's kind of the opposite. She really likes stability and safety, and I don't think that's what Ryle's giving her. Then we also have Atlas, who was a homeless boy that Lily met when she was younger, and there's a lot of flashbacks to him. I'm not going to tell you any more, but you should read it. I also gave this book a 5 out of 5. This is where the month goes downhill. I'm sorry. I'm sorry to people who love this book, but I didn't even get through it. That's how much I couldn't even read it. I couldn't get through it. I feel like the main point of the book happened in the first 3 chapters, and then after that I was just like, what am I even reading? So I got like, I doggy-ear my pages, sorry. I got up to here, so that's how much I read. I probably will finish it at some point, but not right now. Siege and Storm is by, can't say her name, I'm so sorry. Lee Bardugo. Anyway, it is the second book in the trilogy of the Shadow and Bone trilogy. I read Shadow and Bone, I loved, and I thought it was really good, so I picked up the second one and also the third one, which I don't even know if I'm gonna read because I didn't like this one. And it basically follows the story of Alina Starkov and her power and what she has to do with her power and how she can amplify it and how she can fight against evil. And it's a fantasy book. I thought the first book, Shadow and Bone, was amazing. I think I gave like a 4 out of 5 stars, but I just thought this one didn't hit the mark for me. I read this book as well, and we both couldn't get through it. I can't
get through it. It's too hard. I don't know why.
Well, I'll eventually get through it. Look, this is where I'm up to. But for now...
Wow, you're a lot further than me.
So I think I'm going to give it 2.5 stars out of 5. But I really like the first one. I think the fantasy world that the author has created is so in-depth and so great. It's so imaginative that that's the props. That's the 2.5 stars. That's the props. She gave a really good base, but you know when I feel like you try to replicate something really good, it doesn't always turn out as good? That's what I feel like this book was. I haven't finished it though, so I feel like I'm giving a half review. Anyway, my mind might change. I'll let you know if it does. The last book I read was A Man's Search for Meaning by Viktor E. Frankl, and this is a recount of the Holocaust. Not a recount, but it is a personal experience of the Holocaust from a Holocaust survivor. I think it was amazing. I think this is truly a classic book that needs to be read by everyone. It is very heartbreaking and it is very real. It's not like a cozy book you can cuddle up with. You know, when you read it, there's a lot of grit and there's a lot of horror to it, because some of the stuff that Viktor E. Frankl has experienced is truly horrific. Like, there's no sugarcoating. But I thought it was really good writing. New York Times said an enduring work of survival literature, which I think best describes it. It is survival literature, and I really think it's important to have books like this that recount the Holocaust and explore personal experiences so that the story of it is passed on and history does not repeat itself. I do give this book a 5 out of, I don't know if I'm gonna give it a 4 out of 5, because not because of like a bad storyline or anything like that, but I love books. I love books that I can cozy up with, and this is just not one, and that is okay, and that is not what the point of this story is. It is supposed to be like smack bang. The thing is, you have to be in the mood to read it, and you can't be in like a bad state and you want to escape to a world where you don't have to think about your problems, because this is a non-fiction book. So you're not really escaping the problems because it actually did happen. Can you please send her up? Come in.
Your room smells nice. It's a candle.
Come say hi. Yeah,
oh,
get in.
You scared me. I was like, why is there a person in here? I'm not ready.
Oh god, she thought I was another person there. Nope, just my camera. Anyway, so as I was saying, I gave this book a 4 out of 5 stars and really liked it. You should read it too, and I think it's a really important part of history. That is it for the books I read in November. I'm going to title this video The Books I Read This Month so that people think it's December, so that people will click on it, because no one cares about November, do they?
No, because November's already gone.
Yeah, been there, done that. Anyway, a lot of these books are really good. Also, this is your mum's.
I'm not bringing it.
Do you want to read it right now?
Do you like my makeup?
Oh wow, you're getting really good.
Really?
Yeah. Close.
Oh no, we don't do that.
Your blending's really good. Don't touch it. I was like, your blending's really good. She goes. Anyway, thank you so much for listening. If you want more. Oh, also, please go in the comments and recommend some good books for me to buy, because I have a voucher and I'm gonna go buy some books. So please, in the comments, you got this. Thank you so much for watching. If I could recommend you one book from this, I don't know, these three.
I haven't read any of them.
Anyway, I would recommend you probably this one because it's such a good read and it takes your mind off everything. Bye! Do the outro.
Dope shit like that, Jerry. Oh, hi.